Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
We welcome you in. We got a new drug. We're getting closer and closer. The aftermath of a tough weekend for some of our teams, most of our teams. Today we'll talk some college ball with one of the best in the business. Mr. College Football Tony Barnhart stops by. How good is that?
Unbelievable.
He's really good.
He's on the Mount Rushmore of greatest to ever do it.
He really is. We have a lot of stories of when I covered the Bulldogs back in the 80s and he was around, and we had a lot of fun times, and Tony's very good. He does a very good job, and he's a good person, and he'll be on as part of our Woolsey-Morcom National College Football Report. We've got a Duval County Scholar athlete comes by every Tuesday. I'm looking forward to that as well. Matt Hays will join us to talk some SEC football, and we'll talk a little Jaguars as well. We always do that. All that coming up on the program today. So I'm excited about the program today. I'm re-energized. I was bummed out yesterday. I'm not going to lie to you, Hays Carlyon. I was too much losing, but now I feel better. You know what?
I mean, this has a chance to be the weirdest, saddest football season that I can remember in this market. I mean, it's rare enough when the Gators and Noles are dreadful together. That almost never happens. But if the Jaguars don't pull out of this, I think they're going to pull out of it. But if they don't pull out of it, my goodness. Yeah. I mean, there is going to be a lot of tough conversations that are going to be coming over the next few months if the Jaguars can't, bail us all out here.
I don't worry that the Jaguars have a good team. I think they do. And the NFL is such that you win some, you lose some, and then the good teams win more, and the really good teams win most. So I'm not sure they're a really good team where they're going to win most yet. But I think they're a good team where they're going to win more than they don't. We'll see. I mean, I didn't. Again, it's a long year. You knew the first 4 games were going to be hard. So I'm not worried. Now listen, you still got to go do it. They come back 1-6 at some point, or then Frank's the big dummy, and it won't be the first time. I thought the Gators would be better, and I'm shocked the Noles are 0-4. But I'm not worried that the Jaguars. I don't think they're a bad team. I don't think we were that wrong. So we'll see.
I don't think they're a bad team. Yeah. I think they have plenty of talent to win games.
Yeah, and so I think the Jags will be okay. I don't feel that way about Florida State or Florida.
No, they're doomed.
Florida State, I think, there's enough. Like they won the line of scrimmage against Memphis. Memphis had to find other ways to beat them and did. Memphis outcoached and outplayed them, but they weren't more physical than Florida State. Florida State kind of got out physical their first 2 games, but I could still look at the Noles and say they lost on a last field goal on the last play of the game, and they had a Hail Mary to at least give them a chance at the end of this game. Even the game they got rolled by Boston College, it was a slow death. They didn't look up and they were down 41-3. Florida is Vanderbilt. I told you that yesterday. So the most intriguing, I say the most intriguing, the most suspenseful storyline we will have is the job status of Billy Napier and how that affects everything that happens here. So let me ask you this. We didn't get to this the other day, and I want to get to some Jaguar talk in a moment. But one quick thought about the Gators. In your opinion, if you were a betting man, betting your money, when do you think he will no longer be the Florida coach, and how do you think they will move forward?
I will say he gets fired probably with 2 games left in the season.
So even beyond the second off week.
I kind of now think yes, because I think they've realized they just don't have a good solution.
There's not a good interim guy, yeah.
And I think they're petrified of 50 kids just saying, well, I'm not going to play.
Right.
I'm going to stop playing. And for all of Napier's failures as an X's and O's coach, it does seem like the team is still listening to him.
Right.
So, and now maybe that stops in 2 weeks and then you don't have a choice. But as long as he's still got their ear and it appears like he does, because I don't get the sense that they're loafing or that they're not connected. It seems like they're all rowing in the same direction. There's not any good, and he's not any good. So I actually think I just don't know what good it does. I understand there's fans out there that it drives them crazy.
I agree.
But don't you know that he's not going to be your coach next year?
Right.
So does it really matter to you if they fire him today or if they fire him in a month and a half?
Yeah, and that's the best point of all. And I'll give you credit. You've made that point from day one. The only good it does is fans breathe a sigh of relief because now they get excited about the next guy, and they get excited about watching the Ole Miss games and excited about watching whoever else. And I agree with you, but it doesn't really change anything. What it does do is now your players are all free agents. Other teams can come after them. They can decide to feign injuries. They can decide to quit playing hard. You quit on my coach. Why should I keep playing hard for your school? Those things could happen, and you delay that part of it. Not saying they would do that, but you delay that part of it. So you've said that all along. My guess would be if they lose this week, I think it could happen during this first open week. I do. But if I'm guessing and betting, if I'm asking myself the same question I asked you, I would say probably the second open week before you think so, but around the Georgia game. I would think by then to really get a head start. Right now you're not getting a head start. The other question is, I've asked this, and I think I asked this to you, but I'll ask it again. If not Kiffin, then who? That's the question that every Gator fan stares into space when you ask them, me included, stares into space when you ask them.
Yeah, I mean, first off, there could be a candidate out there that it would be a surprise that they're interested. I can somewhat believe James Franklin might be ready to listen to another big-time program. I think at Penn State, he's done a nice job. He hasn't done a sensational job. What he did at Vanderbilt was a sensational job. So could it be somebody like James Franklin? But again, this all goes back to what's Florida's investment going to be in this? I mean, Florida is going to have to decide. We are ready to pay our head coach $12 million a year. We're ready to give that head coach an assistant pool of $7 million a year. And are they willing to do that? You know, I mean, they've sort of gotten what they've paid for with these last 3 or 4 hires. You know, they haven't gone out and gotten the established rock star. They've gotten the coach in waiting at Texas and Will Muschamp. They've gotten the Colorado State head coach in Jim McElwain. They've gotten the Mississippi State head coach in Dan Mullen. And they've gotten the Lafayette head coach in Billy Napier. So Florida's arrogance of, well, we can just go find somebody that's playing minor league ball to come and we'll promote them to the bigs and they'll be great. Well, I don't think you're 0-4 because I think Mullen would have been a good hire, and they could not have foreseen him deciding in year 4, I'm not interested in doing this job anymore, so I'm going to stop putting energy into it. Like, they couldn't have seen that. So Mullen, I don't consider a miss, but certainly in looking at it, Florida has to go do something that they really have never done, which is go hire an established star coach. And, you know, are they going to be committed to doing that? So if it's not Lane Kiffin, and I would expect that it is Lane Kiffin, but if it is not, then yes, you have to call James Franklin and Lincoln Riley. And look, I mean, you have to ask Nick Saban if he would be interested. As laughable as that is, if you were Florida, you have to start at the absolute top and work your way down. And I mean, look, I'd call Dabo Swinney if I got to like 3 or 4 down the list, maybe he's ready to do something. Now, obviously, you'd have to have a conversation about, you know, the portal and things like that. But I mean, obviously, Dabo Swinney would be an incredible upgrade over Billy Napier. So, I mean, it's got to be that. It cannot be Jamie Chadwell or the South Florida coach or a hot coordinator at a power program. Florida has got to go get a guy that is proven that he can do it at a high level.
Well, we'll get to that coming up. I got some thoughts on that as well, similar to yours. Let's start with the Jags for a second. I think the Jags have to get the passing game going early. I said this yesterday. I want to expound on it now. I think throwing the football with purpose, throwing the football to Christian Kirk, throwing the football to Evan Ingram if he's back, and I hope he is, establishing Gabe Davis, down the field to Brian Thomas Jr. That's still one area, wide receivers versus opposing teams' defensive backs, where I think the Jaguars will often have an advantage. I don't know how many areas in an NFL game where one team has a clear advantage over the other, but I think that's one area. I hope Trevor being annoyed as he was in that presser after the game means it's play fast, it's attack through the air. I understand balance, and you've got two good backs, but I'm not sure it's a good I'm not sure it's a good run-blocking offensive line. I think, and they got to figure the offensive line out because I think it's the area that struggled the most. But I think getting the passing game going, I mean, let it fly, brother. And if you get in a track meet with Josh Allen and the Bills, which is people say you're not supposed to do, screw it. I'm okay with that. I'd rather a track meet with Josh Allen and lose 38-35 than still feel worrying about how you can get that offense going, because I think that would portend well for the rest of the season. I've thought about it and thought about it and thought about it. What do you do to fix the Jags? Well, obviously, if anybody knew that, they do it. But I think step one is get good at what you know you're good at. And they've got a damn good quarterback, I think, and a very good receiving core. From the minute that thing starts, I would attack and get that passing game going. And if it means a track meet against a good track meet team, I'd live with it.
Yeah, most teams are not going to be able to cover everything. 2 receivers on the perimeter, a slot receiver, and a tight end. Most teams are not going to be able to do that effectively on a consistent basis. That's what plays to the Jaguars' strength, because all 4 of those positions are manned by explosive to reliable players. And, and that's what they have to start taking advantage of. Would you like to see Walker Little maybe in the mix a little bit with the 2 tackles struggling? Yeah,
you know what? That's the question is, do you change personnel? And I've got to believe they're considering that. So I think in terms of changing personnel, that's really the only move. You could think about Cooper Hodges at right guard, but he just hasn't played. Unlike Walker Little, he hasn't played very much. So I thought about the 2 moves I thought about were, do you put Walker Little in at right guard in place of Brandon Sheriff, and do you put Walker Little in maybe at left tackle in place of Cam Robinson? I don't think you make the move at right guard. But from a the only personnel move I see on the whole team at any position would maybe be the offensive front and maybe Walker Little. So we'll discuss that coming up. But I think for me, you got to get the passing game going. That's who you are. That your quarterback was drafted 1-1. You paid Christian Kirk a bunch of money. Your first-round draft pick this last year was a wide receiver and looks like a very good one. One of your most prominent free agent acquisitions was Gabe Davis, a wide receiver. That's where you're good, and that's where you've invested dollars, and that's where you've invested commitment, and those are guys who have proven it before, including Brian Thomas, who's proven it in 2 games. So get that passing game, get that high-flying passing game going. That's what I think that could be the biggest thing you can change, in my opinion, on the Jags. We'll talk more about that as we go. Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to say hello to our brand-new Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Week, and we're also going to welcome in Tony Barnhart, Mr. College Football, all coming up in the next segment. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold & Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Players spend a lifetime building their bodies into finely tuned muscle machines.
Obviously, you want your star wide receiver to be in top physical and emotional condition.
Listen for the personal injury attorneys Farah and Farah Injury Update. Jacksonville on 1010XL.
Jacksonville contractors and business owners, do you need bathroom partitions and accessories? Frank Frangie here. Coyle & Sons has been in business in Jacksonville since 1927. They've earned the reputation of quality and specialized skill. Coyle & Sons are the ones trusted in Jacksonville by the top contractors, and they can stand on their reputation when you need almost 100 years of commercial contractor experience. Coyle & Sons will design it for you. Call them today at 904-356-4821 or visit them at coiljacks.com.
Did you know you can charge the all-new Honda Electric Prologue in the same receptacle as your phone? You don't need these special charging stations at your home. Simply plug in your Honda or your phone. See your local Honda dealer now. We're electrified.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell & Harrell. Choosing a law firm after an accident is an important decision. With so many messages, we know it can all sound the same. At Harrell & Harrell, we believe what sets us apart is our commitment to you. We'll help you find doctors to get you better, and we'll work hard to maximize any recovery. Visit our website and look at our reviews to see how we've helped people just like you make this important decision. Harrell & Harrell. Offices, Jacksonville.
Bold City AC, keeping you cool. Feeling the heat, Jacksonville? Cool down with Bold City Heating and Air. From repairs to energy-efficient installs, we do it all. Your system worked hard all summer long to keep you cool. Give it a spa day. Schedule a system tune-up. Call Bold City Heating and Air today and experience the bold difference. Bold City AC, keeping you cool. Bold City AC. Visit boldcityac.com.
Ever wondered what heaven smells like? Come explore Crowned Head Cigars on Saturday, September 21st from 1 to 4 p.m. at Tobacco Cove, 3849 Bay Meadows Road, and find out. We've got the Mil Diaz, so smooth it's like a spa day for your taste buds. The Mil Diaz Maduro, rich enough to make a chocolate bar jealous. And Tim Osgener's Aramis, so bold they'll make you rethink your life's choices. As always, there will be great deals, food, and prizes you'll want to brag about. See you at Tobacco Cove, where every puff is a party.
Every weekend is a Stone Cold Sports Weekend. Hey, Dan Hicken here. Watch for The Weekend with Dan on YouTube and Facebook, and I'll help you put together your sports weekend. Weekend with Dan brought to you by Stone Core. We do the outdoors better.
Salvatore's famous pizza now in Jacksonville, Tapestry Park off Southside Boulevard. In honor of our favorite player, number 16, Salvatore's large pizza with lots of mozzarella and one topping, only $16. Coupon at salvatores.com. Dine in, pick up, and delivery. $16 for a large Salvatore's pizza with lots of mozzarella and one topping. Coupon at salvatores.com. Tax and delivery extra.
When all you have is a hammer, everything is a nail. I'm Dr. George Bari, and like me, I know you have been bombarded with PRP and stem cell treatments from companies that promise the world and charge prices to match. Or the surgeon that convinced you the only way to treat your injuries through surgery. At Bari Orthopedics, we offer the best PRP treatment on the market with prices that won't cost you an arm and a leg. We also have the expertise to treat your injury surgically, if that is what it entails. We can discuss all surgical and non-surgical options with you and make sure you get the best treatment available. Come see me, Dr. George Bari at Bari Orthopedics.
Hey, Hicken here. Are you tired of having your carpets professionally cleaned only to have them looking dingy again? Zero Res can help. I'll tell you what, they have the technology. Zero Res uses its patented ZR water that cleans beautifully without using any soaps, detergents, or shampoos. That means zero residue left behind. And guess what? Zero Res falling back in time for September. 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $129, and we'll clean a 4th room for free. That's right. The 4th room is on me. Zero Res, man. Spell it forward. Zero Res, spell it backwards. It's a right way to clean.
Welcome to ABS Advanced Business Solutions, your local authorized technology partner and home to Xerox copiers.
Advanced Business Solutions.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hays Carlyon for MyBookie. Football is back. Winning season is back. MyBookie's here to make sure you're ready to cash in on the action. This season, MyBookie is pulling out all the stops with incredible promotions like weekly risk-free boosts on Thursdays, where you can bet without a sweat. If your bet hits, you win big, and if it doesn't, forget it. MyBookie will refund your wager. But that's just the beginning. MyBookie is giving away hundreds of thousands in prizes with their Super Survivor and Squares contests. Get your entries in now for a shot at huge cash rewards. For a limited time, they are bringing back the double deposit bonus when you're ready to get started. Use my promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus that doubles your money on your very first deposit with promo code 1010XL before you even place a bet. Remember, exclusive giveaways and bigger rewards. MyBookie is the lock of the century. Bet on anything, anywhere, anytime, and make sure your season is a winning one.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. And now, this week's Scholar Athlete of the Week. Brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists and the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234 on 1010XL.
And it is a pleasure to welcome in our Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Week, Macy Dubois from Mandarin. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Thanks for coming in. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Macy, let's talk all about volleyball because you are really into volleyball, varsity volleyball, beach volleyball. How'd you get started in volleyball? Why is it a big deal for you?
I started at a young age. I started at the Y like most people. And I had my sister playing volleyball, so I kind of looked up to that. And my dad also was in the Junior Olympics for volleyball. So it was definitely a sport that was dear to me and close to me. And I think just having a team, it being a team sport where we just like encourage and uplift each other, it's just nice to play alongside your friends.
Very cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Macy, what position do you play and why do you play that position? What do you like about it?
I play the outside position. And I also play my own back row, so it's very fun to see both sides of the court, you know, the offensive side, but also the defensive side. So you have the ability to, you know, like keep the ball going, but also be the one to put the ball down. So it's very entertaining and exciting.
Mace, you're a captain, and I ask this a lot when someone comes in as a team captain. There's responsibility there, lifting up your teammates. People are captains for a reason. Why do you like being a captain, and what responsibilities do you feel because you are one?
I feel like there's a lot of responsibilities when it becomes being a captain. Staying calm in the moments where, you know, you might not be winning or just the energy's high. You have to be like calm and like put that presence out for your team, but also encouraging, knowing each player and what encourages them best to be the best player that they are on the court. And you have to show that on and off the court, you know, being a good person off the court, whether it's in school or through church or outside of that, or also just on the court and just being a great leader that people will look up to. Do
you have a favorite team win?
I really most recently enjoyed our win against Fletcher. It was such a thrilling game. It was a point for point, and just having games like that, it makes it so much more rewarding to win, especially as a team.
Tell us a little bit about the stuff you do off the court. You're obviously a club officer in NHS, National Honor Society, and you're in the ACE program. Tell us about that.
Great opportunities that I've been given to just be an officer for NHS, to show that I have like the academic opportunities and to prove myself in that way. And the ACE program, although it's a hard program to be in, it's such a great program where I get to learn and just have so much understanding about the world in different ways.
How does it work in terms of college? What are your plans and what's sort of the timeline to decide?
Yeah, so the timeline is coming up close. You know, applications need to come out. Applying to like the University of Tampa and the University of Florida. I'm really looking into going into physical therapy and sports medicine, just being able to help someone out just the way that I have been helped out throughout my career. Being an athlete, I understand the importance of taking care of your body.
What's your first choice? Where do you hope to go?
My first choice would probably be the University of Tampa. It's just such a beautiful program that they have and a beautiful campus. And with it being a private college, I just have that one-on-one experience that I may not get at other ones.
What about volleyball? Are you going to keep playing volleyball? What's the plan?
I would like to play volleyball, whether it's through the school or maybe the clubs that they have around it. Volleyball has just been such an important part of my life, and I would just love to continue that as I continue to grow.
All right. Well, I'll bet you're going to keep playing. So have you got it it's in your family, in your blood, right? So
yeah, it's in my blood.
I get it. Macy Dubois, the Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Week, terrific student, terrific volleyball player. And I'm going to guess probably winds up at the University of Tampa. I'm going to guess you're going to get in. So congratulations and thanks for stopping by. We sure appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Macy Dubois from Mandarin High School. She's our Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Week. And yeah, I don't think she's going to have much trouble getting into the University of Tampa, and she will do great when she is there. Let's take a break. When we come back, one of my favorite people in the business, my friend Tony Barnhart, joins us. He's Mr. College Football. It's our Woolsey Markham National College Football Report. It's next, so stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harold and Harold studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
Do the Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
At Garber Auto Mall, we can wiggle it. Best price, we can wiggle it. Best trade value, we can wiggle it. Best payment, we can wiggle it. Ford, Chevy, Buick, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, with 8 American brands, we can wiggle it. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or online at GarberAutomall.com. And remember, at Garber Auto Mall, there's always a little room for wiggle.
Do the Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
Frank Frangie here to congratulate my friends at Big Chief Tire. For the 5th year in a row, Big Chief Tire was named the best tire center in Jacksonville for excellence in tire services. Big Chief Tire has served the Jacksonville community for over 60 years with quality tires, brakes, repairs, alignments, and more. Big Chief is known for fair prices and honest service, and they've built a reputation for treating customers like family. Big Chief offers reliable solutions to keep vehicles safe and running smoothly. Visit BigChiefService.com.
Hey folks, this is Dave Benyon with my son Ammon here from Zero Res. Ammon, you've been cleaning air ducts for a while now. What are some of the reasons customers might consider getting their air ducts cleaned?
There are many reasons. Many times, people suffer needlessly from poor indoor air quality produced by the conditions in their air system. Construction dust, the presence of bacterial growth, and years' worth of buildup all come together to make your air ducts a pretty gross place. If you suffer from allergies, have recently moved, recently remodeled, or have never had your air ducts cleaned, then now is the best time to call. By calling Zero Res, you'll have the peace of mind of knowing that you called the best of the best. Our state-of-the-art truck mount system and top-of-the-line service representatives simply can't be found anywhere else. Google Zero Res and read thousands of 5-star reviews.
So what kind of deals can I expect?
Just mention that you heard us on the radio, and we'll give you $100 off your air duct cleaning.
Wow, that sounds like a pretty great deal. Remember, folks, Zero Res,
spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Injured in an accident? Have mounting medical bills? Can't work? Don't worry. Zach's got your back. I'm Zach Von Rowan of Von Rowan Law. I will fight for the compensation that you deserve. Set up your free consultation at zachsgotyourback.com.
Now that's what I call high-quality H2O. If you want high-quality water in your home at a fair price that won't scare you to death, then talk to someone who knows water and is not a pushy salesman. Contact your local water boy, Keith. I install premium equipment and can repair or even rebuild your existing system. In a business known for aggressive sales tactics, let me show you how my approach is different. If you've got any water problems, contact the water boy at waterboyjack.com.
It's all about the beautiful game, the Sporting Jack Soccer Hour. From national teams to youth soccer on the First Coast, join Cole Pepper, Mauricio Ruiz, and Becky Burley for Soccer Talk, Tuesday at 6 p.m. on 1010 a.m.
Hey, Jaguars fans, as the official whiskey of the NFL, it's not a kickoff without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. And that's why we've built the Crown Royal Rig. An absurdly awesome 18-wheeler delivering the generous spirit to stadiums and tailgates across the country. Follow the Royal Rig on its journey from city to city, bringing together local cuisine, NFL legends, and the opportunity to pack a purple bag for charity and win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit crownroyal.com for rules and more, and please drink responsibly.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's contestant, a dust bunny breeder from Jacksonville, Florida, meet Steve Johnson.
Welcome to the show, Steve.
It's great to be here, Alex.
Yeah, you don't have to answer in the form of a question, Steve.
What is this game show?
See, that's another question.
Are you going to ask me about air conditioners?
Yeah, okay. How about we just send the Bueller guys over and you can annoy them with all your questions? Johnny?
That's right, Steve. Bueller Air and Plumbing can answer all your air conditioning questions, repair options, replacement models, and how to make your AC last longer while saving electricity, making sure you are cool.
Where is the parking lot?
You're killing me, Steve.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Get off the ladder and put on the helmet with Gutter Helmet of North Florida. We are family owned and manufactured locally. Cleaning your gutters is a dangerous and dirty job. That's why with Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. Water goes in your gutters while trash and debris go on the ground. It won't collect like filters do. Gutter Helmet protects. Call now for 10% off and a free gutter cleaning and tune-up with your purchase of Gutter Helmet. Call 904-762-7779.
Most goals have a clear course, like planning a trip. But when it comes to losing 40 or 50 pounds, that's a different story. Except with Awaken 180. A clear course to fast, proven weight loss with free support for life. It's Awaken180weightloss.com.
I'm with Greg Mackey from Cycles of Jacksonville, and even though you're the place to go for fun, you're also a place to go for generators
people need generators.
And the Honda lineup is amazing. They make the super quiet model, inverter technology, the electricity super clean. You can have conversations with them. You can back up your whole house with a Honda generator. So we have them in stock, and we're ready to ride.
So you have generators big enough that could run everything in the house?
Absolutely.
Check it out, Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic near Regency for generators.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
The Jaguars went 1 for 4 in the red zone on Sunday against the Browns. Jaguars head coach Doug Peterson on the struggles inside the red zone.
Yeah, that was frustrating. We just are making a few mistakes, and as we know in this league, you got to score touchdowns, especially when you get inside the 10.
Jaguars running back Travis Etienne Jr. on the importance of the red zone opportunities.
Even though we played, we still have ways. We still could have scored in the red zone, and we got to find ways to score in the red zone. It's too important. It's the NFL, and you get down there, we have to score touchdowns. We just got to figure that out as a team.
Jaguars running back Travis Etienne Jr. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Time now for the College Football Insider, brought to you by the law firm of Woolsey Morecambe on The Frangie Show.
Hi, welcome back. Glad you're with us. Frank Frangie, Hays Carlyon, and my buddy Tony Barnhart. Mr. College Football joins us now. Always a good day when Tony stops by. Tony, how are you, brother? Good to talk to you.
It's all good, man, and we're getting ready to go to week 4. Can you believe it? We waited all summer to get this thing started, and now we're headed to week 4.
Yeah, you're right, and I got a lot to talk to you about the Bulldogs and so many of these other SEC teams as well. Tony, what happened to my Gators? What are we, Tony? What are we doing? What are we doing, Tony? Are you shocked that Florida's become Vanderbilt? Does that shock you as much as it does us?
I'm shocked that they're not very good. It's a bad football team and I don't know why. I just certainly did not expect them to win the SEC championship, but I did not expect them to get embarrassed at home by Miami and to get embarrassed at home again. It's just it defies description. So and I hate it because I like Billy Napier. I know a lot of people up here who know him, and so I don't know how it's going to pan out. But the Gators just aren't very good.
Yeah, without a doubt, Tony. It's Hays Carlyon. Great to talk with you again. Where are you on the Florida Lane Kiffin thing? Do you think Lane Kiffin might have an interest, or do you think, why would I leave Ole Miss? I have it rolling, and why would I go restart at Florida?
I don't have any firsthand knowledge of whether or not he's talking to Florida or not. Obviously, Florida's Florida, and Florida's a great place has always been a great place to be. But now you got the facility side of it wrapped up, and you got everything you need there. And so my thought would be he's got a great situation at Ole Miss. He's not going to anything he wants. He's the king. Anything he wants, he's going to get. But it is hard to resist what I call these blue blood jobs like Florida, where you've got everything you need in the recruiting territory and all that. So it's going to be fascinating. I just hope I want Billy Napier to make it through the season. I know I may be in the minority on that, but I want to see him make it through the season.
Tony Barnhart with us, Frank Frangie, along with Hays Carlyon here. This is the Woolsey Morecambe National College Football Report. Tony, Georgia struggled against Kentucky. Georgia always has a game like that. But I'll say this about the Bulldogs. They always win. It's one thing to have that bad game and lose it. They always win. How good's Georgia? Are they better than they've been the last 2 or 3 years? Are they the same old Georgia? They sure seem to be the team to beat, right?
Well, I'll tell you a story. You several years ago, you met my boys who travel with me to the Georgia-Florida game every year, and we're on a text message group trading thoughts back and forth, and they're yelling and screaming and, what is wrong? We look horrible, blah, blah, blah. I said, guys, let me tell you what a coach told me. He said, when you go on the road in the SEC, you want to win the game by 1 point, get on the bus, and get the heck out of there. Okay, it's just a hard place to play. I expected it to be a tough game. I didn't expect it to be 13-12. But the answer to your question, Frank, is how good is Georgia? I think Georgia's good enough to win the national championship. That's why they're number one in so many areas. But there are some things they've got to get better. They've got to run the ball a little more consistently. There's no question that they miss Brock Bowers. I mean, who's becoming a superstar in the NFL. But I still think they are good enough to win the SEC championship, and I picked them to win the SEC championship.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have an early thought on their matchup with Alabama next week?
There's going to be a lot of really good players on that field. It is going to be one for the ages. I talked to a friend of mine in Memphis who's a big Alabama guy, and he said, Tony, it's going to be wild. It's going to be at night. It's going to come down to quarterback play. I can promise you that. And somebody called me today and asked me about Jalen Milroe. I said, he's a great, great athlete, and don't let him beat you with his legs. If you let him beat you with his legs, he's going to do it.
Tony Barnhart with us, National College Football Report. Hey, Tony, the other teams, Texas, Ohio State, how would you rank the rest of the pack after you get beyond Georgia? Is Alabama with that group in your mind? Is Ole Miss with that group in your mind? Who stands out in that group?
Look at it this way, Paul. The new AP poll came out on Sunday, and there are 6 SEC teams in the top 7. Of course, Ohio State is in there at 3. Plus, we don't know anything about Ohio State yet. They haven't played anybody, but I'm hoping we're going to get to see them pretty soon. But I think, to me, it's Georgia, Texas, or Texas, Georgia, Alabama. Then who's number 4 in the SEC? Is it Missouri? Is it Ole Miss? Is it Tennessee? Okay. Suddenly Tennessee is number 7 in the country. So I've never seen a time when there have been this many really good teams. And after that, after Ohio State, I don't really see anybody on the rest of the nation that really looks particularly scary. Maybe Miami. I mean, Frank, you saw Miami. I haven't seen them.
Right.
But I know they're very, very physical. But like I told somebody yesterday, it's an SEC Big Ten world, and we are living in it.
Without a doubt. Tony, the team that you mentioned that excites me is the Volunteers. Obviously, they're just destroying the outmatched teams that they've played. But NC State was supposed to be good, and they hammered them as well. What do you think will happen when they go visit Norman this Saturday night? Because I can't wait to see that game.
It's going to be an electric atmosphere. Obviously, Josh Heupel coming home where he won a Heisman Trophy. It's going to be a great, great scene. And you know what? The way Tennessee has looked so far, and we're going to learn a little bit more about them, but the way they've looked so far, I'm not sure this game is going to be close. I think Tennessee. I asked somebody the other day who knows the Tennessee program well. I said, if Nico turns out to be another Hendon Hooker, can Tennessee play for the national championship? He said, absolutely, because here's the story that nobody's talking about. Rodney Garner, who may be the best defensive line coach in all of college football, who's at Tennessee, is telling people this is the best defensive line, deepest defensive line he's ever had.
Wow.
And you're talking about a guy that coached at Georgia, that coached at Auburn, and all that. And so Tennessee is going to get there on offense, but it may be defense that wins them a championship.
Well, I tell you what, if that's right, if that line is that good, that is saying something. Tony, we asked you about Florida's struggles. Florida State's struggles surprised me even more. I didn't think Florida would be a great team, but I thought they'd win 7 or 8. But I thought FSU might be a double-digit win team. I thought they had turned the corner. That's a real surprise. What do you make of the Noles?
Real surprise, and it's not only that they're losing at Florida State, it's the way that they're losing. Georgia Tech lined up in the first game when they played in Dublin, and I talked to some Georgia Tech people, and they said, we can run on these guys. We can absolutely run on these guys, and they did. And everybody else has seen that game tape, and they're running on them. They're offering no resistance. They don't look like a well-coached team. Having said all that, I think Mike Norvell is a very good quarterback, a good coach, and I think they'll work their way out of this. But right now, they're not a very good football team at all.
Are you buying Missouri as a team that can make the playoff?
No, not yet. You gotta show me. I think it's a good football team. Brady Cook is an elite quarterback. Luther Burden III is maybe the best wide receiver in the country. They've got the weapons, and they've gotten better defensively. But I'm not ready to put Missouri in that group, with Georgia and Texas and Alabama and Ole Miss. I'm not ready to put Missouri there yet. We'll see. That's the great thing about this season, guys. When you look at the schedule, everybody's going to play just about everybody. And Georgia does play everybody. And so, I mean, holy cow. Of those 6 SEC teams in the top 7, Georgia plays 4 of them.
Wow.
And 3 of them are on the road. Wow. I mean, my goodness.
Tony, we've done this a long time, you and I, and guys that have been in this business and in the college football side for this long. The game has never been more different because of the portal and NIL and now the 12-team tournament. Is it better? Is college football better now than it was before? Is the structure better? Was it better before? How do you feel about that?
The irony of all of this, with everything that's going on, what you just rattled off there, Frank, is that the game on the field, the game that we watch every single week on Saturdays, is better than it's ever been. I mean, there are more good players, more good coaches. People have made the commitment from a facility standpoint. And so as we move into the future, it's all going to be about how do we compensate the players and have some sort of structure in the game so that everybody can sort of figure out what their cost is going to be. The NFL, of course, does it with a salary cap and the roster limitations. But what's college football going to do? And now you got the governor of Georgia who signed in the law that says, hey, NCAA, you can't punish our schools for paying their players today. If that's what they want to do, that's what they can do. And the players are going to get paid, but we haven't gotten a settle. The judge did not give a positive ruling on the settlement with the NCAA. So, but the game itself, when the games start, guys, nobody cares where the quarterback got his car. Nobody cares that he's got $1 million endorsement deal. Nobody cares. The game is what matters, and the game is better than it's ever been.
Yeah, that's well said, because it truly, truly is. My friend Tony Barnhart, in addition to talking college football, is one of the best authors out there. If you haven't read his books on college football, shame on you, because they're fantastic. But one of the neatest works you've done, and we had you on before, Tony, to talk about this, is the 19 of Green. Because it's not just college football. It's high school football. It's your personal experiences. Tell us a little bit about what inspired this, and we'll tell people where they can get the book. But I think it's a cool story. Tell people why it's near and dear to your heart.
Well, thank you, Frank. In the fall of 1970, the courts in Georgia ruled that the schools in the state were going to have to integrate once and for all. The South this doesn't surprise anybody, the South was very slow to integrate and did it in chunks at a time. And finally, the court said, you're going to do it completely. So we had a black high school in my home county, Greene County, Georgia. We had a black high school and a white high school, and they completely merged. And the book is about what that season was like, and not really from a football standpoint, although we won 7 out of our last 8 games. It's about how 53 years after we played our last game together, the quarterback on that team, Charles Turner, who came over from Corey, the black school, Charles Turner is one of my very best friends. We talk a couple of times a month, and we've done some book signings together. And it's the fact that the relationships have lasted this long. We had a book signing at my old high school, and the community turned out to support us, and it was incredible. But I learned a lot about myself doing the research, because I got to talk to guys who I hadn't talked to in 50 years, and it's just been a real joy. And I've learned a lot in the sense that we've come a long way in race relations, but we still got a long way to go. So it truly was a labor of love.
And I know how near and dear it is to you. People can get it on Amazon and all the places they get books, right, Tony?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
So check it out. It's called The 19 of Green. It is really good, and Tony is a fantastic author. So he takes you through what it was like. It's not unlike Remember the Titans, which is the movie, and you got to read the book. Tony, it's always great having you on, brother. We sure appreciate it. Take care, man.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right. My friend Tony Barnhart, Mr. College Football. He's done it for so many outlets, and from ESPN, it was on Game Day. He's certainly been with the Atlanta Journal-Constitution for many, many years, and he's still He's as good as ever, man.
His book, Southern Fried Football, is incredible.
Yeah, it really is.
If you haven't, and it's been out for probably 20 years, but it is a fantastic book.
It really is.
Yeah,
So,
he's a fantastic author.
so thanks to Tony for coming by. Matt Hazel joined me to talk more college football coming up in just a bit. Before we get that, I do want to get back to something Jaguar-wise. You said something to me during the break, and not for radio. We're just talking because you're looking at video and whatnot. Brian Thomas Jr. might not just be a good find. He might be a megastar. He went 23rd. He didn't go first, second, or eighth.
Every time you see a clip, he's open.
Yeah, and I was told by people that I trust in Baton Rouge, he's more talented than Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors was more polished, who's also, by the way, really talented, and is going to have a great career as a pro. But that there's more in there with Brian Thomas Jr., that's not a knock on Malik. That's just the belief that people had that knew them both and watched them play. This guy might be the next Jacksonville Jaguar megastar. I mean, megastar. We haven't had a lot of megastars. We had Brunell and Baselli and Fred and Jimmy out of the gate. We had Maurice Jones-Drew a little bit later on. They were really stars. We've had some good defensive players. We've had, obviously, Jalen Ramsey, like him or not, was a star. But there haven't been and I'm missing some, but you get the point. There haven't been a lot. This guy might be the next megastar. And now, obviously, Trevor Lawrence, we hope will be as well. He's been paid as such, and he's a terrific quarterback. But number 7 might be something spectacular here if they get him the ball enough. I mean, they have scored 3 touchdowns so far. The first one came after he ran by 7-time Pro Bowler Jalen Ramsey and got tackled for pass interference to the 1-yard line. The second touchdown he caught in the back of the end zone, tight-roping the back of the end zone. And the third one was set up by his 66-yard catch. So help me, the ball was overthrown. They overthrew him. He just wouldn't let himself be overthrown. This might be a megastar, Hays.
Well, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how the Bills defend him, because my guess is Sean McDermott is now taken in the Jaguars 2 games. And my guess is in the Buffalo facility, they're probably, as a staff, looking at each other like, boy, they've got something here. And they maybe haven't connected as much as they would have liked, but we can't defend him like Miami and Cleveland did because they didn't know what he was. So I'm curious to see on Monday night, do you start to see the Bills giving Brian Thomas more attention than what we've seen in these first 2 matchups? Because the film, I mean, it pops in terms of, I mean, he could have ridiculous numbers right now if the offensive line had held up, if Trevor had seen him at certain times. I mean, you might be talking about a kid through 2 games with 3 touchdowns and 200-something yards receiving.
Yeah.
And so I think that'll be really interesting. Do the Bills play it like Miami and Cleveland have played it, or do they kind of see it? And that's the affirmation for Brian Thomas. If Buffalo is devoting more of its prime resources to him, then the message will be clear. Jacksonville has something special at receiver, and then it's up to Brian Thomas and the Jaguars to still involve him. But the good part of that, if the Bills do that, then boy, you'd like to think Christian Kirk, has a big game. Gabe Davis and his return to Buffalo, is got the chance to have a big game, and hopefully they'll have Evan Ingram. But now it's going to be interesting to see how do opponents cover Brian Thomas, and do they devote more to him than what we've seen so far?
A special player, the first-round draft pick out of LSU. More Jaguar talk coming up later on, as every day in the program. But when we come back, Matt Hays joins me. We talk SEC football. It's brought to you by Underwood Jewelers. Boy, the SEC, Tony Barnhart just said it, 6 of the top 7 teams in the country are from the SEC. According to today's AP poll, 6 of the 7 are from the Southeastern Conference. We'll talk about SEC with Matt Hays after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Hey, bro, come through today, bro. We got to rap, bro.
There are great plays.
Time's ahead for the first down.
But in the end, there's always a play that stood out.
Touchdown!
The performance painting high performance play of the game on 1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hays Carlyon for MyBookie. Embrace the start of football season with MyBookie. Take advantage of their live betting, especially if a heavy favorite gets off to a slow start, and check out their cool prop bets. They have tons of amazing stuff in MyBookie. If you haven't signed up, go to mybookie.ag and register for a free account. Use promo code 1010XL to get a double bonus. MyBookie will double your money on your first deposit. Let's take a look at some updated MyBookie lines. The Jaguars are a 6-point underdog at Buffalo. The over-under is 46.5 points. The Gators are a 4.5-point road favorite against Mississippi State. The Noles are a 2-point home favorite over Cal. Sign up with that promo code 1010XL to claim your deposit bonus. Again, it's a double bonus. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. And don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Hey everyone, it's football season and we wanted to go to the drawing board to make this year's predictions. Let's compare our two blonde all-stars. Most touchdowns, best pricing in the market. Most passing yards, gives the most for your trade. Most receptions, free oil changes with every purchase. Super Bowl champion, wow customer service. This looks like a winning season for everyone. Come see Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville where you can score big all season long.
This is Hays Carlyon from my friend Holt at Harrell & Harrell. There doesn't seem to be enough time in the day to get everything done. Then you get injured in an accident and you don't know what you're going to do. Let Harrell & Harrell make it easy for you. Easy on becoming a client. You can just text or email if you want. Easy on finding a doctor and getting through the process. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harrell & Harrell and make it easy on yourself. Call them at 904-251-1111. That's 251-1111.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting.
1010XL celebrates high scorers.
1010XL and Southeast Orthopedic Specialists celebrate scholar athletes.
In class and on the court.
Brought to you by the Plumbers and Pipefitters Local Union 234. Wednesdays on the Frangie Show.
Denny Thompson here. They're still growing. Tyson Sound & Security is looking to hire a master electrician. Are you or someone you know a master electrician with residential experience? Candidate will start at the industry's most competitive pay. Apply online at TysonSoundAndSecurity.com or call to apply 762-1000. Tyson Sound & Security hiring a master electrician offering top-notch industry pay. Call to apply 762-1000. Equal opportunity employee.
Prosser here. I've been telling you for years about Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Football season finally upon us. Imagine watching your favorite team in your new Lifetime man cave, family hangout, or Lifetime's version of a she shed. And now Lifetime is expanding their replacement window division. Make your home energy efficient with their Energy Star rated windows, enclosures, flooring, and windows to fit any and all budgets. Visit the showroom just off Phillips Highway. Proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let Lifetime be your home team.
Hey, there's a lab-grown diamond and jewelry sales event going on right now at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Monahan's is known for its natural diamonds and gemstones, but we've had so much demand for lab-grown diamonds that now through the end of September, Monahan Jewelers is having a lab-grown diamond and jewelry sales event. We've brought in a huge selection of lab-grown diamonds and jewelry to meet this incredible demand. Lab-grown diamond sales event now through the end of September at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Are you feeling the heat? It's time to cool things down with Duck Duck Air Conditioning. Contact us today at 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckac.com. Duck Duck Air Conditioning to keep you cool and comfortable all year round.
If you're tired of your fence looking like a bad hair day,
Well, it's time for a fence makeover with Superior Fence and Rail. They'll make your yard the talk of the town with a new fence installed by their expert team.
Your fence is fantastic. My fence is giving all of my neighbors some serious pick and envy. Thanks, Superior Fence and Rail.
So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail for your fence installation project today.
SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
David Lane here, and once again, I'm happy to share news of my successful back and knee surgeries at Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. Whatever it is that's bothering you, take it from me. Simply set an appointment today at Southeast Orthopedic Specialist and let them help you get back to normal life. I'm certainly glad I did.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Craving a cold one? Well, zip into one of the great gate locations you see all over town and pick up a cold Bud Light, or a Natty, or an Ultra, maybe a 12-pack of the King of Beers, or some cold Coronas. It's all happening at your local gate convenience store. Slide on in today.
This right here is as good as it gets. This is life getting lived without obligations or complications. This is filling your cup and savoring the moment. This is the gift of presence, served to you in a place where there's room for everyone and enough to go around. And the best part, it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
I'm Max Fink here with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. Florida State head coach Mike Norvell spoke to media after today's practice about how he can still control his team even after a disappointing 0-3 start. Some of the main details he has emphasized throughout the season and how he was dealing with the team's high emotions is how he is keeping his guys bought in.
Just see them finish the way that they did is definitely a positive step. That's what happens in this game. And I think one of the things that has been a challenge for us at times throughout the course of the season is that if something doesn't go the way we want, or you get the frustration sets in for the moment, it's still about the details, still about the discipline, it's still about going and just being the best you in your response. And so you've got to continue to see that. And I thought there were good examples of that today, and we thought we got better with the work.
The Noles will take on Cal this Saturday at 7. It's 84 degrees at 4:59. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Time to talk all things SEC. Brought to you by Underwood Jewelers with college football insider Matt Hays on The Frangie Show.
All right, Matty Hays joins me every Tuesday to talk SEC football. Matt, I'm going to talk about the real teams in a minute. But let's start with the Gators. Man, they're fantastic. Yeah. They are outstanding. How long in your mind till the Billy Napier thing drops, and when should it drop?
So I think there's a couple ways of looking at it. First off, Mississippi State's going to play a lot better this weekend. It's just the way the league goes. If you get embarrassed, the next week you play much better. We saw it with South Carolina, rolling Kentucky. Kentucky comes back and nearly beats Georgia. You saw it last year when New Mexico State goes into Auburn and wins that game. But the very next week, Auburn almost beats Alabama. So that's the way this league works. Mississippi State is going to play well this weekend. So you lose that game on the road, it's difficult. But there's also an X factor too, Frank, is these kids can play up to 4 games and still redshirt.
Right.
So if he gets fired after this weekend, then all of a sudden you're thinking, all right, how many guys in those roster tanks it in or opts out or just says I'm going to redshirt? Because be it young guys, be it older guys who want to save a year to get in the portal, who knows? And then the question then becomes this, and I know you'll laugh at this because I know you agree with me. How many on that roster are worthy of that? Right. And it's so strange to say that.
Right.
Because this was the guy who was the recruiting guy, the guy who could improve the roster. He was the player procurement guy. And I know we joked about this prior to the season that the Senior Bowl, those are all good dudes. They're all smart guys, those scouts there. And Florida was one of the top 5 teams with players they were scouting this year. 17 players. Who are the 17 players in that roster they're scouting?
I'm with you. I think that's the biggest surprise to me, Matt, is even more than the coaching stuff and the dysfunction and the stubbornness is the fact that every time they play a good team, the other team has way more good players. I wrote it off to Miami because I thought Miami might be really good, but A&M's just okay. And A&M, they have, and I think Mississippi State's going to beat Florida this week because they're at home and they'll play better. So it'll be interesting to see. My guess is sometime midseason, but we'll see what winds up happening.
Well, let me ask you this real quick.
Okay.
Are these players not good, or are they just put in a bad situation? I mean, is it as simple as what Lance Guidry, the Miami DC, said when he said, we studied them and it was the same 10 plays coming up over and over and over. And I'll be darned if we get in the game in the first series, 4 of those 6 plays show up. Is it just that? Could it be that, Frank, that they actually have players, but the scheme is so bad that they're just not any good?
I think it's both, Matt. Listen, when the other team in your stadium rushes for 310 yards and you rush for 52,
it's not good, is it?
310 to 52, your players aren't very good, bro. Good players can overcome bad coaching at least to that point. They can run to the ball and stop the other guy for rushing for 310 yards with a backup quarterback who's virtually never played. So but we'll see.
With a first-year head coach, first time on the road.
Right. 310, Matt. They rushed for 310 and Florida rushed for 52. I don't think the players are very good. I think, by the way, it's not one or the other. It could be both. I don't think Billy. Right. Whether he missed on the recruits, whether he didn't develop them. They've become Vanderbilt. I keep the Vanderbilt people are going to get mad at me because I keep saying that, but Vanderbilt has been the whipping boy over the last 30, 40 years in the league, and I think Florida's that team. Georgia wins by 1 against Kentucky. Get Kentucky better maybe than the team that lost to South Carolina? Is Georgia just asleep at the wheel a little bit? I'll give Georgia credit, Matt. They always find a way to win those games. Did your opinion of Georgia change any because Kentucky played them close?
Not really. I think my opinion of South Carolina changed a lot, not only from the Kentucky game, but also from the LSU game. My God, Frank, Gilbert Edmond, holy moly, that guy did nothing for 5 years, and all of a sudden he's a beast right now in South Carolina. Back to Georgia. Look, again, this is the league. Kentucky struggled. They played really well the next week. I think Georgia went in there thinking, all right, we are who we are. We'll just roll this team. And I think that leads to the idea of, is this chemistry different than the other teams that currently had chemistry, where those guys would go in and they would just suffocate people. Now, they would have their times where they would struggle every now and then, but not like they did at Kentucky. So that kind of, for me, that's a little bit of maybe even just a little bit of a hesitation of, okay, well, maybe the chemistry's not right there. Because in previous years, like you remember those games, they struggled a little bit at Missouri.
Yep.
They had a time. Who was that other team they played that they struggled a little bit with? Actually, twice with Missouri.
Yeah.
Ole Miss a little bit, I think.
Right. That's right.
Early on, but they typically just snuff out teams, and it just didn't happen this time.
Yeah, LSU and South Carolina. LSU almost had the unthinkable quinella of losing to both USCs in the same season. They found a way to win that game. But is South Carolina just way better than everyone thought, or is LSU off a little bit? What did you make of that game?
I don't know. I'm a little concerned about that, too, because I think maybe, we have to start doing transitive property right now. Maybe the USC-Michigan game this week will tell us a little something. We'll have an idea of what USC is, the team that, of course, beat LSU in the first week of the season. I don't think LSU is much better on defense. And I know they got Blake Baker, who's now the highest paid DC in the country, got him from Missouri. I don't think they're any better, Frank. I think they're a little better, but a little better from that terrible defense last year is not good enough. I love their offense. I think Nussmeier's going to be a day one pick. I really do. He's a terrific talent. But other than that, their defense just leaves a lot to be desired. And that's the one thing I think, if you want to say where's Brian Kelly has come up short in the SEC so far, is he has not recruited those elite defensive linemen. And that's a big problem.
Matt, Tennessee has not been elite since the 90s. They were good in the early 2000s. They beat Florida in that legendary game in 2001 that was rescheduled to December. But they've been good at times, mostly bad. They haven't been elite since the 90s. Boy, the Vols look elite now. Are they as good as they look like they are?
You know what? We're gonna know more this week when they go to Norman to play Oklahoma. boy, they look just against NC State, really. I mean, I know they were up 67-0 halftime last week, and the first week I think they won. They put 70 up or something. But the NC State game was the one where I kind of really was like, okay, and more so because of the defense. Defensively, they are getting after it. They can run. They're very athletic. I think they're bigger, too, in the front seven than they've ever been. And Nico looks very smooth. Just looks very smooth controlling the offense. They've got really good skill guys, two really good receivers, underrated running back. I love what they're doing. I mean, I've always said that Josh is a terrific coach, and once he gets his guys in place, they're going to be dangerous, and they look very dangerous right now.
The two teams that are really good that don't have blue blood heritage but look awfully good this year are Ole Miss and Missouri. Are they both as good? Are they both top 6, 7 teams in your opinion? I know there's two different programs, so you can talk about each one of them. But how good could either of those two teams play for a national title?
So short answer, I think Ole Miss probably could get there. I think Ole Miss could probably play for it. I don't know that Missouri can, but I think Missouri can get to the playoff. And I don't think you can undersell that Missouri winning against Boston College either, because let's be honest. Boston College was 2 or 3 plays away from scoring 49 on Florida State. That's a pretty good team.
Agreed.
And I think Missouri, that was a nice win for Missouri. Ole Miss, I think defensively, they're a completely different team. Their defensive line is now legit. Offensively, they are what they are, man. They might have the best receiving core in the country. They're fantastic. And Jackson Dart looks unbelievable. So I really like what they're doing. I really like what they look like. But, again, they played no one. And, Frank, they're not going to play anyone until like week 7 or week 8. So we're not going to know anything about Ole Miss until probably late October.
I don't know Lane Kiffin. I knew his dad a little bit. I've seen him, but I've never really interviewed him. For whatever reason, I've just never been around him. I know you have. Obviously, he's the only. It's a one-man list in Florida fans' mind who they want, and it's him. You've told me before they could have had him in the past. What is Kiffin like? Is he as quirky as he seems to be? Would he be interested in the Florida job if it popped up? What's your take on all? I know you talk about it with Joe on Primetime, but what's your take on all that?
I don't know that I would use the word quirky. I think Lane just walks to his own beat. That's number one. And number two, I think that beat has changed significantly over the last 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Like, he's a different guy now from what he used to be. A completely different guy. I just think he's at peace with who he is and what he is. He really likes it there in Oxford. Doesn't mean he won't leave, but he really likes it, and they like him. And look, if you're, we talked about, you asked me, could they win the national championship? If they're in a situation where they're in a playoff run, and again, people have to remember this is how the playoff changes everything. The national championship game is January 20th. Florida going to wait till January 20th to hire a coach? What if they're deep in the playoff run and they're playing in the national championship game against Georgia and a rematch of the classic regular season game? I mean, and not only that, what if, let's just say Ole Miss wins it all. He's not going. Now, then the question you ask is, would he go? All right. Without them winning it all, save them winning it all, and save for them playing in the championship game, I would think that he would come. I would think for the right money and the right package, he would come here. But it's not going to be just about him. I think it's going to be about, okay, how much are you going to pay Lane? What kind of salary pool are you going to have for the assistant coaches? And are you committed to doing this the right way? Now, they were committed in every other way with Billy Napier. They gave Billy everything he could possibly have. But if I was the AD, there was I'm telling you right now, Frank, there's no chance in hell if he came up to me and said, I want to hire Austin Armstrong as my defensive coordinator, I would have said, no, not happening. No.
Right.
No way. And that's, those are the moves. And I was looking at his coaching staff because I'm trying to figure out who's going to be the interim. And more than likely, it's probably going to be Dan Enos, who's now an analyst. But look at that coaching staff, right? It's horrific.
Right.
And Florida fans are wondering why they're not winning games and why it looks so bad. Look at that staff. There's no one there where you can say, oh, yeah, that dude's been in the SEC. He knows how to recruit. He knows how to coach guys.
Right.
I've seen X, Y, and Z. There's no one on that staff right now like that.
And that's one of the reasons that they have given pause is, I know to firing him early, there's nobody even to make the interim. It might be Dan Enos, who, for people that don't know, is an offensive coordinator who's been at Arkansas and Alabama, been a head coach at Central Michigan or Western Michigan, whichever one.
Central,
and he's the only guy. they could do it. So you're right. 2 games quickly.
Right. The best guy on that staff might even be Mike Pete, honestly.
Yeah.
He might be the best coach in that staff.
Yeah, I know. Good point. All right, two games real quick. Mississippi State at home against Florida. Is Mississippi State going to beat Florida? I think they are.
I think it's going to be I think if Mississippi State does typically what SEC teams do when they get blown out, they play much better. Yeah, I think they're going to beat them.
All right, and Tennessee at Oklahoma. If you want to wait till your show to pick that, that's fine. But set the game up for us. I think it's a heck of a game.
Yeah, I do too. I think Oklahoma's going to play really hard. They haven't looked that good the last couple of weeks, specifically 2 weeks ago. But I mean, this is going to be a team that's going to be ready for this game. They're going to be fired up because it's the whole Josh Heupel returning to Oklahoma. And believe me, Josh is going to be fired up about going back to Oklahoma too. When we were in Dallas, you could tell he was excited about that game. And he'll never say this. He's never going to say that he was upset about getting fired, but you better believe he was, man. You better believe that. So there's a lot going into this thing, and it's also kind of a chance for Tennessee to make a statement to say, this is where we are now in year 4 under Heupel. This is where we are. And we are not going anywhere.
It was kind of funny with us in Dallas when we said, hey, you got Oklahoma in the league now. And he goes, hey, guys, I get to go play there. Remember? Hey, guys, I get to go play there. Now, he's a good dude. So, Matt Hays, talking college football, talking SEC football, is brought to you by Underwood. Matt does a fantastic job. Matty, thanks, buddy. We appreciate it.
Okay, pal.
All right, Matt Hays talking college football. Matty does a great job. He does a great job on prime time. You hear him with Joe and Leon every single day in the middle of the day. And then, of course, you can follow him on USA Today. USA Today, I don't know what took him so long. Hired one of the best college football writers in the country, and my friend Matt Hays. Hays Carlyon has headlines. That's after this. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Get ready to roar into the weekend. Get everything you need to know for your weekend on Pregame Friday.
It's a big deal.
Gosh, it sure is a big deal.
Brought to you by MyBookie and Dream Finders Homes on 1010XL.
This is Hays Carlyon for Kingfish Pest Control. Are you tired of spiders, ants, roaches, or other pests invading your home? Call the winning team at Kingfish Pest Control. Right now, score 20% off your new pest control service when you start during the football season. Also, enter their SWAT That Kick Jaguars promotion at Jaguars.com for a chance to win 3 years of free pest defense. Save big and defend your home with Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
At Hodges Mazda, we are proud of our solid reputation in the Jacksonville community. Lauren Brooks here. As your hometown Mazda dealer, our high customer service standards and our huge inventory of new and used cars provide our customers a consistently first-rate car buying experience. Our professional non-commissioned sales team puts your best interest first without exception. And every vehicle purchased from Hodges Mazda comes with 2 years free maintenance. Visit Hodges Mazda today or shop online at HodgesMazda.com and discover the Hodges Mazda difference.
Are you thinking about upgrading your outdoor space with artificial turf? Well, you're going to love working with Caleb at Sunshine Turf. He's genuine, always on time, and really trustworthy. Frank Frangie here. We had Sunshine Turf design and install turf at the Bragan Baseball Complex, and it's gorgeous and maintenance-free. From putting greens to pet runs around pools and more, Sunshine Turf can do it all. Visit sunshineturf.info to get a free quote today from Sunshine Turf. That's sunshineturf.info.
This is Tony Baselli, Pro Football Hall of Famer. I was known for protecting our quarterback. These days, I'm extending that protection to a different arena, your home. I have partnered with Heritage Roofing of North Florida, your premier local roofers with over 25 years of experience. Heritage is your go-to roofer for hurricane preparation, with same-day inspections and estimates. They also work with all insurance companies. Let Heritage Roofing of North Florida safeguard your home and family. Visit heritagenfl.com for your free estimate today.
State license CCC 1335410.
Hacker here, and I've got something to celebrate. Honestly, I never thought I'd be able to say this. I'm on the countdown to dropping 100 pounds. Yes, sir. 90 pounds already, thanks to Awaken 180 weight loss, and I'm just 3 weeks away from hitting the big 100. The best part? I'm reaching that 100 mark in months, not years. Life-changing and life-saving, no doubt about it. I had pretty much given up on trying, but now I'm going to be here for my son, my wife, wife, my family, and most importantly, for myself. I'm living my life to the fullest, and I didn't know just how easy it was to make happen with Awaken 180. When I hit that 100-pound mark, we're going to celebrate big. I'll keep you updated every week as I get closer, and you can even join in on the celebration. Details to come. In the meantime, pick up the phone and make your own 180. Call 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it worse. Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
Oh my goodness. Fishing is more fun when you catch something.
Yeah!
Listen for the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show with Captain Kevin. Woo-hoo! Brought to you by Veterans Wholesale Cabinets and Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
If the Florida heat is getting you down and you're sweating up a storm, fire up a phone call to Florida Home AC and order an AC tune-up. It's the best way to beat the heat and keep your AC unit working at peak performance. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com for their tune-up special and make sure you're primed for the peak of that heat. Florida Home AC, the official AC provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and just a phone call away at 777-4300. Order that tune-up today.
When all you have is a hammer, everything is a nail. I'm Dr. George Bari, and like me, I know you have been bombarded with PRP and stem cell treatments from companies that promise the world and charge prices to match. Or the surgeon that convinced you the only way to treat your injuries through surgery. At Bari Orthopedics, we offer the best PRP treatment on the market with prices that won't cost you an arm and a leg. We also have the expertise to treat your injury surgically if that is what it entails. We can discuss all surgical and non-surgical options with you and make sure you get the best treatment available. Come see me, Dr. George Bari at Bari Orthopedics.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Have a group trip or company function soon? Mark Watson here with Hardball Creative. Get busy ordering the t-shirts and other swag you'll need. It's easy with Hardball.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
15,000 workers. I'm Brian Rose from Remedy Staffing. We survey 15,000 blue-collar workers each year to better understand what drives quality and dependability in our workforce. The survey shows when looking for a new job, the initial pay rate, job security, and safety while working are the most important factors for hourly workers. If you're an employer and would like to learn more about the voice of the blue-collar worker, please call us at 904-528-1933.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank Frangie, JJ LaSelva. I am Hays Carlyon. Thanks to our friends at Harold & Harold. Give them a call at 251-1111. Frank, we will start with Jaguars power rankings. Not good for the good guys. ESPN has them 24th. Pete Prisco of CBS Sports has them 24th. And Pro Football Talk has the Jaguars 27th. With a comment about, will Bill Belichick be the next Jaguars coach?
Yeah, I don't think Bill Belichick's going to be the next Jaguars coach. But look, you got to do it on the field, man. You got to prove it. I mean, I think they have a good team, but it doesn't matter if you don't go and do it. They've played 2 games. They've lost both games. They're one of the 8 winless teams in the league right now. That means 24 teams have won a game, and they haven't. So I get it. Right now, even though I think they're way better than that, if you're one of the 8 winless teams in the league, you're probably going to be in the bottom 8 of a power poll.
Yeah, hopefully a little motivation for a team that sorely needs a lot of it. Let's get to around the NFL, and we'll start with Monday Night Football last night. Kirk Cousins leads the Falcons past the Eagles. Saquon Barkley with just a terrible drop on 3rd and 3 that would have put the game away for Philadelphia. But alas, Kirk Cousins, who we thought from week 1 maybe wasn't quite himself, looked fantastic on a 2-minute drive, throws a touchdown to Drake London, and Atlanta gets a huge win.
There was I expected the Eagles to win. I wouldn't have been shocked before the game if you told me they didn't, because I thought about it when you asked me who I thought was going to win yesterday. But I'm shocked at how they lost. When you have 1-1, and again, the Jags had 1-1, but let it get away, but not quite like this. Yeah, Barkley's got to catch that pass. Obviously, we all know that. But yeah, that's a gut punch for the Eagles. And look, the Falcons are kind of like the Jaguars. Wes Durbin, I had this talk when I was up there for the preseason. We both felt like a couple struggling franchises that have kind of found themselves and expect to have good seasons. So they're much like this franchise. They got the big money quarterback. They got the quarterback of the future, both on the same roster. They expected to be good, and they were an eyelash from starting 0-2, so that's a big win for them.
Absolutely. Let's get it to Miami with the Dolphins. Tua will go on IR. The Dolphins want to give him a good month, not only to recover, but also get all the advice that he needs to get from doctors to determine what's next for his career.
Yeah, it's interesting. When Tua kind of said, word is that he has no interest in retiring. I thought he might be back sooner rather than later, but I think the Dolphins are probably wise here. It was a really big hit. It was a scary scene, the fencing afterwards. Let's take a month and everybody decompress and catch your breath and see where we are. I wouldn't have thought that's where it was headed, but I think it makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah, I would agree. The undefeated Steelers are planning on starting Justin Fields again this week, it looks like, because Russell Wilson remains in recovery from his calf injury. Pittsburgh 2-0. They're 2 games up on the Ravens and Bengals right out of the gate.
And they're not as good as either one of them. And, I mean, I've watched a little bit of that game Sunday. The Ravens and the Bengals both have better teams than the Steelers. So that's why it's a long season, and that's kind of the point. I mean, I watched a little bit. It's the first time I've really watched them. I didn't see much of the preseason, so we were home after the game. They played a late game, so I watched some of that game. They're not very good. They're good on defense. They're always good on defense, and they come up with new defensive players all the time. Justin Fields has not looked good to me. The receivers aren't very good. The offensive line isn't very good. But the defense is really good. And the kicker, they have maybe the best kicker in the league now. And I think those 2 things help them. But I think the Ravens and the Bengals both have better teams in Pittsburgh.
In the NFC West, it is just a battle of attrition already. The 49ers, who obviously have already lost Christian McCaffrey, now they're going to lose Deebo Samuel for a couple weeks with a calf strain.
Yeah, again, it's a long year. It's a long year. And I tell people all the time, not just with the Jaguars, but with other teams, don't get too caught up in what happens early on. But the losses count. The early losses count. So when you lose guys like that, losing Deebo would not have been a big deal once Ayuk gets his sea legs under him. If Ricky Pearsall was back healthy, because they really like him, and if McCaffrey was out there. But the fact that Ayuk is still new because he missed all of camp, Pearsall is down, McCaffrey's down. Yeah, losing Deebo Samuel is a concern, no question.
Absolutely, and it's no better in LA where the Rams are going to lose receiver Cooper Kupp. Looks like he is going to be headed to injured reserve with an ankle injury. The Rams have already lost their other star receiver Puka Nacua. So crazy attrition for the Rams.
And they play each other, so it's going to be the attrition game, no question about it. Yeah, the Rams off to a tough start.
Yeah, let's get it to college football. The Florida-Georgia Hall of Fame inductees have been announced. The Gators will be represented by Fred Weary and Mike Peterson, while Georgia will have Mike Fisher and Bill Goldberg.
I covered Goldberg at Georgia. I was a beat writer. I was the beat reporter for my year covering Georgia, my 1 year covering Georgia for the Times-Union. Goldberg was on the team. He was best quote on the team, by the way.
Oh, was he?
He was the best quote on the team. And Mike Fisher, you may or may not remember, played at Bowles. He's from Jacksonville, a defensive back. He intercepted the last pass Wayne Peace threw in the Lindsey Scott game.
Oh, wow.
After Lindsey Scott scored, Florida got the ball back, and Mike Fisher intercepted it to end the game.
How about that? And Fred Weary is from Mandarin.
Yeah, and Fred Weary's a Jacksonville guy as well, and well-deserving. Fred Weary doesn't get enough credit. That was a great defense. That mid-'90s defense, was, including the national championship defense, was really good.
Absolutely. Let's talk about targeting in college football, because we haven't gotten to this, and it certainly didn't affect the outcome Saturday. But we're starting to see some bizarre targeting calls, led by Florida getting called for targeting when Bridges targets the butt
he hit him in the
of
butt.
the Texas A&M receiver.
The guy jumped up in the air. Bridges hit him in the butt, and that was called targeting. Now, I know he probably led with the head a little, but it was a terrible call. It was almost – Bridges even sent out a tweet afterwards with a big smile, targeting with a big grin. It was a comical call. It was comical that officials can't get that right. I don't care what the letter says. When you hit a guy, when the guy jumps up and you collide with his butt, you didn't target. Sorry.
And there were a couple, not that egregiously bad, but there was a couple targeting calls over the weekend that were very questionable. So we'll see if that gets cleaned up a little bit. The Tennessee Volunteers are going to hike ticket prices 10% starting next year for a talent fee that will go to the players. Do you like this idea?
I like the fact that the players are going to get more money out of this. I don't know that I love the fact that fans who already spend a great deal of money are having to pay more. I wish there was a way that the talent fee could come from sponsor dollars or donor dollars or TV dollars more than players, more than fans, many of whom scrap and claw to be able to go to those games. So, and I shouldn't say that. Maybe they don't, but some do. So do I like the talent fee to the players? Absolutely. Do I wish there was a better funding source than Joe and Martha? Yes.
I would agree wholeheartedly with that. Ole Miss coach Lane Kiffin criticized Wake Forest for backing out of next year's game. The Rebels just defeated Wake Forest 40-6 last week. Wake Forest says we want no part of a rematch next year. Frankly, I don't know why Lane Kiffin cares, because he's not going to be the Ole Miss coach next year. But I did think it was really cute that he got so upset about it.
He was really annoyed by it. He was really annoyed by that fact. That got my attention too. Teams do that all the time. What I would have expected, it's a home and home, and you bought out they came to your place and then you bought out of your return game. What I would have expected happens, because I've heard of other teams talking about doing that too. What I would have expected, Hayes, is we're not going to play it next year, but we'll still owe you the home game. I thought just buying out of it, which you can, you have the provision, you have to pay, so it's going to cost you a lot of money. But I would think, hey, we can't do it next year because of blah, blah, blah. We'll owe you a home game in X years.
And it puts Ole Miss in a tough spot because they don't schedule hard at a conference.
Right.
So they're now with not in accordance with that SEC mandate of you've got to play at least one non-conference game against a Power 4, which is why I think it got Ole Miss so upset.
I agree.
So we will see what happens and if it will be a Lane Kiffin problem or not in 2025. Let's get to Major League Baseball. We're 150 games in. And the Atlanta Braves are a game out of the wild card.
Behind the Mets, huh?
Yeah.
Behind the Metropolitans.
One game back.
The Metropolitans and the Braves, JJ. Can you catch them? Can you catch them from one game back, JJ?
It's possible, but not likely. Their offense is terrible. They got destroyed last night. Somehow they had a leadoff triple. They, in one inning, didn't score. They had a leadoff double, and then a single, didn't score, and then another leadoff double, did not score any time.
That's brutal.
It's almost impossible to do that.
Is Billy Napier coaching the Atlanta Braves?
He's teaching the bats. I don't know.
Let's get it to happy birthday wishes to Mark Brunell, who turns 54 today. Brunell threw 154 touchdowns for the Jaguars, winning 67 games in his career, if you count the playoffs. And why wouldn't you? Brunell is now the quarterback's coach with the Lions. Happy birthday, Mark Brunell.
Yeah, Mark's a good dude, too. Mark's one of the good guys. It was great seeing him. I haven't seen him since last year when we practiced up there with the Lions, but Mark's one of the good guys. Has been for a long time, and one of the most important Jaguars ever. He was the quarterback on those first great teams, and you can make the argument that there hasn't been a team like him since. There haven't been. The 17 run was glorious. Miles Jack wasn't down, and that team should have been in the Super Bowl, but there hasn't been a team like those 90s Jaguars since.
No doubt about it. Let's get it to pop culture. We've got happy birthday wishes to Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, who turned 73 today. Cassandra Peterson, Elvira,
I might have
73.
If you'd have thought, Frank, who do you think Hays is going to say happy birthday to on the program today? I might have gone deep before I got to Elvira. Yeah, I might have gone through presidents.
You know Elvira, don't you?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I might have gone through presidents, rock stars, sitcoms.
It's meaningless to
Elvira.
me. Elvira's at the top of the happy birthday.
That's just perfect.
Yes, rankings for me. And we will get you out on our musical note of the day, because on this date, back in 1991, Guns N' Roses releases their double album, Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. You could buy the album at midnight. So me and my friends went to Turtles Records on Bay Meadows to buy it. I was 15 years old.
Love it.
The album sold over 500,000 copies in the first 2 hours. Both albums are certified 7 times platinum. This is November Rain, one of 30 songs on the double album.
How about that?
Yeah.
You remember going there?
I do remember.
Albums were great.
I was completely fired up.
Music
I don't even remember how. I was trying to remember how I got there because I couldn't drive. I was 15, so I don't know if we walked. But with it being at midnight, we probably got a ride from somebody. Maybe one of my friends could drive. It's hard. It's just hard to believe it's been 33 years. But yeah, it was an awesome night. I don't know when I went to bed. I had school the next day.
Music stores were great.
Oh, they were.
We miss music stores. The worst part about Spotify is music stores.
I used to have the Turtles, like the stamps that you would get, and once you filled out the booklet, you'd get a free CD. Yeah. That was awesome.
Nice job. Well done. One segment to go. We'll have it for you after this on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update, brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
NFL Thursday Night Football to start week number 3. Aaron Rodgers and the Jets hosting the New England Patriots at MetLife Stadium. Both teams are 1-1. The Jets opening up as a 6.5-point favorite, minus 105 against the spread. The Patriots, coming off an overtime loss to Seattle, are minus 115, getting the 6.5 points. On the money line, the Patriots are plus 230, while the Jets are minus 230. Over-under is at 37.5. The Jets are the second best betting favorite to win the AFC East at plus 270. This update brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1010XL.
A customer called Duck Duck Rooter saying they had some nasty stuff backing up inside their home. So we went with our camera to look inside their plumbing lines. And sure enough, tree roots in the sewer line. Need to see what's blocking your lines? Call our team to locate the issue and provide solutions to resolve it. 904-862-6769. Visit DuckDuckRooter.com. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jags. Duck Duck Rooter, your fully insured and certified plumbing contractor, residential and commercial.
It's time to take it back to the 90s, Jags fans. Be at the bank Sunday, October 6th, as we debut our Prowler throwback jerseys against the Colts and induct legendary head coach Tom Coughlin into the pride of the Jaguars at halftime. Kick off the set for 1 p.m. You're not going to want to miss this matchup. Lock in your seats now by going to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000.
Who has the best lineup this season? Honda. Cars, trucks, SUVs, vans, hybrids, and electric. This is one of the greatest lineups Honda has ever had. And now is the best time to purchase or lease one. Visit your local Honda dealer now. Remember, only a Honda is a Honda.
This is Hays Carlyon for Harold and Harold. I was at lunch with my good friend Holt, and he was telling me that sometimes a lawyer can get more from a case than their own client. I was surprised to hear this, but Holt said that doesn't happen with Harold and Harold. They'll never take a fee that is greater than their own client. When they say they treat their clients as a person and not a file, they mean it. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harold and Harold at 904-251-1111. That's 904-251-1111.
Are you ready to upgrade your home?
Experience the winning combination of style and performance with Renewal by Andersen, energy-efficient, custom-built replacement windows and doors. Buy one, get one 40% off replacement windows and patio doors. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months. This offer expires September 30th and restrictions apply. Renewal by Andersen, proud partner of the Florida Gators. Visit rbafla.com for details.
License number CGC 1527613.
Spend lunchtime with the ladies.
Hey, where's your sense of adventure?
They don't cook, but they serve up spicy sports talk.
Sure, it's on the menu.
Helmets and heels.
That is a meal.
Switched on by First Coast Lighting and Fans on 1010XL.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. Clayton, Underwoods has sold fine quality diamonds for a long time. Why is that important?
Frank, if you drew a line with the poorest diamonds with the lowest prices to the left and the highest quality to the right, our diamonds are at the far right end. Now, once we know the weight, the grading factors of cut, color, and clarity have to be considered. And the one that's talked about the least, but it's the most important to us, is the diamond's cut grade, because it has a huge implication on both the price and the beauty, and thus the value. I've bought diamonds for Underwoods for over 30 years, so I know what's out there, and the cut grade's just not important to most diamond sellers. That's really been the Underwood difference, because beautifully cut diamonds result in the most important thing they can do. They bring a joy of owning and wearing a diamond, not just today, but tomorrow and into the future. That's why it's important to us.
And it should be to you too, because nothing brings more joy than a diamond from Underwoods in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra since 1928.
In its final year, we encourage you to help create great futures for young people when you run or walk at Mackenzie's Run, Saturday, November 23rd. Join Boys and Girls Club of Northeast Florida for a 5K and 1 mile fun run through the beautiful stadium course at TPC Sawgrass. Enjoy food, live music, face painting, family fun, and more at our Runners Village. Register at mackenziesrun.org. Mackenzie's 5K and Fun Run, November 23rd. mackenziesrun.org.
Football fans, huddle up. Make Best Bet St. Augustine your game day headquarters. We're serving up the ultimate viewing experience with all the big games on our massive screens, mouth-watering food specials till 2 a.m., drink deals to keep your spirits high, and we're open till 4 in the morning for post-game celebrations. Ante up for your team and score big at Best Bet St. Augustine this football season. For the play-by-play on our game day specials, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com. Best Bet St. Augustine, where every fan leaves a champion.
Expert Automotive on St. John's Bluff Road has some of the highest Google reviews in Jacks for a reason. Expert Auto never sells greed, only what you need. All makes and models are serviced at Expert Automotive. This month, get an alignment inspection for only $19.99. Expert Auto does major engine and transmission repair and simple maintenance. All services done at Expert Auto by our ASC certified training technicians. Call today, 374-3373, and ask about $50 off any service. Expert Automotive. We never sell greed, only what you need.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation. Light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to carlsondentalgroup.com. That's carlsondentalgroup.com for all of your dental needs.
There's certain places you know if you go in, they got what you're looking for, like Gate Convenience Stores and Cold Modelo's. That's the ticket. Or get on the craft side of things with something from Bold City or Sweetwater. Hit the cooler at Gate, full of choices and all of them good.
How long would it take to reach the moon from Earth at the speed of light?
Hurricane season is here, and now is the time to ask your agent about your homeowner's coverage. It's time to make the change to Southern Oak Insurance.
Our family protecting yours, Southern Oak Insurance.
It would take only 1 second. That's right, just 1 second to reach the moon at the speed of light, and only minutes to reach the sun.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Jeff Lageman with his assessment of the Jaguars' offensive line.
Mitch Morse right now is
probably playing as your best offensive lineman. Right tackle, Anton Harrison did not play well at all in week 1. Played a little bit better this past game, but he's capable of so much more.
Where's that second-year jump from him?
Haven't seen it yet. Brandon Sheriff not playing well. He needs to play better. Cam's playing just okay, but, I mean, he's still got that habit of dropping his leg a little bit in pass set sometimes. And Ezra Cleveland, I thought, been playing pretty good. Can he be better a moment? Sure. But I mean, as a whole, that group needs to be better.
Jeff Loggeman on Jaguars Today. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars Update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Time now for the Sky Life Elite Take Flight Moment of the Week. Sky Life Elite, North Florida's premier private air charter.
Cousins looks right, has a man, touchdown, Drake London. And we are tied with the extra point to come. What an answer by Kirk Cousins and the Falcons offense, and there was no pressure on Cousins the entire way down the field.
There wasn't, and here Darius Slay, he gets fooled, but he's got his eyes more on Cousins than he does Drake London. As London comes off the ball, he's cluing on Cousins, and London, there wasn't a whole lot to the route. Slay just gets caught.
Joe Buck, Troy Aikman on ESPN delivering that call. Kirk Cousins to Drake London, a 7-yard touchdown pass with 34 seconds to play as Atlanta, who never wins games like this, stuns Philadelphia with a 6-play, 70-yard drive, 1 minute and 5 seconds. They went right down the field. Philly actually had enough time to come back and win the game, and Jalen Hurts got pressured through an interception on Atlanta's side. But it was a great game, and certainly a great moment for us for our Take Flight Moment of the Week. Again, give our friends at Sky Life Elite a call at 490-9332. You can also find them at flyskylife.com, North Florida's premier private air charter.
Get 4 or 5 of you together and fly to Buffalo.
There
That's
you
what you
go.
ought to do. You ought to get up there. They do a great job at Sky
Absolutely.
Life Elite. JJ, where have we been today?
Now, the Cool Down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
All right, we had our second Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Week. We certainly enjoy doing that today. We always enjoy our Scholar Athletes. It was Macy Dubois from Mandarin. We appreciate her stopping by. Tony Barnhart, Mr. College Football, was around. The Woolsey Morecambe College Football Report. He talked all about national college football. And then brought to you by Underwood's, Matt Hays came by to talk SEC football. So we had a lot of guests, a lot of fun today. We talked a lot of Jaguars as well. Hayes and I both thought that this guy, Brian Thomas Jr., is special, maybe really special. It'll be fun to see the way he develops this year. You made the point. It's a really good point you made earlier is maybe he's just not a good player. Maybe he's a really good player. Maybe they haven't had enough stars here. They had stars in the early going, and maybe the Jags will have more stars. Meanwhile, Bet Online has its odds on the next Florida coach. Jamie Chadwell, number 1 on your list.
Yikes.
And in your heart.
Yikes. It's actually not a bad bet because Florida could blow the search.
Yeah.
And Jamie Chadwell, would say yes.
Right.
So from that standpoint, it's not a bad bet.
He would ride a moped to Florida to Gainesville to have that job. Lane Kiffin, 2nd. That's the one everybody wants, obviously. Coach Prime is 3rd.
Yeah, no chance.
Can you see Coach Prime in Gainesville?
Yeah,
not a chance.
No chance.
Eli Drinkwitz is 4th. Then it gets interesting. I mean, Coach Prime, you're going to put him on because everybody puts him on. Lane Kiffin. Chadwell surprised me that he's that high. Drink, everybody has said the name. Brent Key is next, the Georgia Tech coach.
No chance.
You know who's after that? Brian Schottenheimer. Schotty's ready to go play.
Where is he now? I mean, I know he's on his 29th NFL job.
All I know is every time I think of Brian Schottenheimer, I almost told him this when he was a coordinator here one time, is I remember when Eric Kresser left to go to Marshall, and Werfel was the quarterback in 96, and Kresser was no longer the backup. Brian Schottenheimer became the backup on the national championship team. And I asked Spurrier, I said, what happens if Werfel gets hurt? He goes, Schotty's ready to go play. So from now on, he's always, for all of us that covered the Gators around then, he's always referred to as Schotty's ready to go play.
He's the OC in Dallas.
Yeah, so
he's the OC in Dallas, and I want to say he's worked. He's like the Fitz Magic of NFL coaches because I think he's honestly been an NFL coach. An assistant.
Yeah.
At like 10 different stops.
So I will say this. You guys talked about it earlier. So I do want to, before we bring in Rick Ballou.
It's not going to be Schottenheimer, just so we're clear. Don't bet that.
Yeah. All the Gator fans want Kiffin. But when you ask the Gator fan, Kiffin or who, they stare into space. We talked about this at the top of the show.
Right.
Hicken and I talked about it on the pod, too. I do think where you went with this is probably where they need to go. I think the next coach has to have been or is a head football coach at a Power 4 school or the NFL. I don't think you can go get the Louisiana guy again, which is why I don't think Jamie Chadwell can be the coach. That's just my opinion. I just don't think.
Unless they fail.
Yeah. Well, that's right. But even so, I think there's guys that would take the job with whom you wouldn't fail. So I think the names, I really think if they fire Napier, and we all expect that they will, and whoever's making the hire, whether it's Scott Strickland, whether it's a committee, whatever, you go after Kiffin. That's what everybody wants, and he's a good coach and for all the right reasons. If not, I do think then what you do is you have to then start kicking the tires on Lincoln Riley. There was some talk that he was not happy at USC and they were not happy with him. On James Franklin, who maybe his time is worn out at Penn State. Kyle Whittingham, who's a really good football coach that nobody would expect, just like nobody expected Brian Kelly to pop up in Baton Rouge. I think he's in play. I don't think he leaves, but I think you got to call Dan Lanning. I think that group. Then I think you even get to Mark Stoops and Mike Gundy. But I think all those guys, for me, before you get to Lance Leopold, because even though he's at a Power 4 school, he's at Kansas, that's the same as being at, that's the same as being at Southern Miss to me. He's not really been in the fray. So I think it's Riley, Franklin, Whittingham, Lanning. I think it's that collection, whoever else, Luke Fickell. I think it's that group.
Matt Rule.
Yeah, Matt Rule. It's not a guy, right, it's that. It's not a guy that is at Southern Miss or Tulane. I don't think – that's what I don't think you can do again.
I agree. If you're Scott Strickland, and let's assume they've given you the authority to make this hire.
Okay.
And Nick Saban calls you and says, I'm bored, I'll take the job. Would you hire 72-year-old Nick Saban?
In a minute.
Me too.
So I'd pull a hamstring.
Yeah.
I'd pull a
I would hire 92-year-old Nick Saban.
I'd pull a vocal cord saying yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, so in a minute you do that, but I will tell you, and I will tell you this. That's not realistic because he's not going to want it. I think
Jupiter, his home.
Yeah.
It's only a few hours away.
But here's the question that I think could be in play, and I'm serious about this. What if Urban wanted it? Because here's what I'll give you my take.
Yeah.
If Urban had not stayed in Columbus on the Thursday night game and gone to the bar and had not kicked the kicker, forget the losses and he wasn't very good in the NFL and he was a bad fit. Forget all that. I don't think any of that would have kept him from being a candidate here. I think the staying in Columbus with the girlfriend at the bar, not the girlfriend, but the girl at the bar, and then the kicking of the kicker, I think those two instances are why Urban Meyer wouldn't be in play. If not, I think he would be in play. He's only 60 years old. It's not like he's some 75-year-old guy. 60 in today's day and age. I think he would be in play for that job if not for those two instances.
And I think there's things even that go beyond that. The Zach Smith thing was such an embarrassment.
Cost him 3 games at Ohio State.
Even at Florida. I mean, it's...
But I don't think those keep him. I think the two I mentioned are what keep him from being a candidate.
Well, certainly, and those are the two most recent. But, I mean, I think even if you're Florida, you have to look back and say, yes, he delivered 2 national titles, and that's obviously wonderful, and he's a great coach. But even at Florida, I mean, he admitted his last year he didn't give it his full effort. Yeah. The program was a disaster when he left.
It was.
On
many fronts.
On many fronts. So, I don't know. And I feel like he hasn't been in college coaching now for like 6 years. And the sport has completely changed over that time. So, I think Florida needs to hire somebody that's familiar with the NIL market, that is had to build from the portal, evaluate in the portal, has had to re-recruit his own roster. Meyer is an old school coach. I just don't know that it would work. I agree with you. He's 60. I think he's plenty young enough to still be a head coach somewhere. But if I was Florida, I'd have to go deep down the list before I would consider Urban Meyer.
Well, I don't think he's even in play because of the two instances I said. But I'm just telling you, I think those two instances, he's not flying back with his team, and the Josh Lambo stuff. Though, in my opinion, those two instances will keep him from being in play. That's what I think. Let's say hello to Rick Below.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Injury Care Centers, the exclusive provider of BioTarget regenerative therapy for pain. Visit GoBioTarget.com for a location near you.
Maybe Urban Meyer to Tallahassee instead.
Take him. Take him in a heartbeat. Kidding me? I mean, he wins.
Yeah, he does win.
He does on that level. Urban Meyer could win at Florida State.
Yeah.
Guarantee you that.
Yeah. I told Hays, I'm joking aside, I think he would be in play at Florida except for those two instances, not coming back on the plane and the Josh Lambo.
Let it go.
Yeah. No, but I'm telling you.
Everyone makes mistakes, man. If he can win, I'd bring him back.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm great.
How are you? You ready?
Everything,
ready to go?
Everything's
fine,
man.
good football around here.
Everything's fantastic. We're getting closer to hockey season. So
yeah, I tell you what,
I'm fired up.
That's kind of where you are right now, isn't it? I get it. I get it.
Mid-September, and I've got a thing that I've been thinking quite a bit about today.
Yeah,
that I'm going to throw out there, and then I'm going to offer up an opinion on it and see what the Jaguar listeners think. May put the cart in front of the horse here, but you know what? The football team has created this opportunity to put the cart in front of the horse. They haven't played well and they haven't coached well, so I'm going to throw this out there, and I'm looking forward to some reactions, see what these Jaguar fans have here on a Tuesday.
Can't wait to hear it.
Fired up for it.
Rick Beluga's into the night.
Let's
talking
go.
Jaguars and a whole lot more. Thank you, Rick. That'll do it for our program, folks. Thanks for being part of it. But don't go anywhere. Rick Beluga's into the night. That comes up right now. We're out of here. Tomorrow, same bad time, same bad channel. For Hays and JJ, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.